Hello, welcome to hardwarebusters.com. I am Themis, and today we will be taking a look at the newest addition to the Asustor family, one of the newest additions, the Lockerstor 4 Generation 3. This is not exactly an upgrade because the differences compared to the Generation 2 are too many. First of all, here we have a Ryzen CPU, an embedded Ryzen CPU, to be exact the V3C14 model, that has 4 cores, 8 threads, and it is vastly superior in terms of processing speed at least to the N5105 used in the Generation 2. However, this one has now dropped the support for HDMI, which means you cannot use this directly to output a signal to your TV and use it as a media server, at least in that fashion. But it has gotten some upgrades. First of all, it has now ECC memory, to be more specific, DDR5 memory. It comes with one single module pre-installed of 16 GB, but you have 2 available slots for a maximum of 64 GB. As far as the connections, the I/O of this NAS, we have the following. Besides the power input here, you also have 2 5 gigabit ports, 2 10 gigabit ports, 2 USB 3.2 Generation 2 ports, and 2 USB 4 ports, but with an asterisk because these ports only support storage and connection to other Asustor accessories, such as an expansion bay, for example. Around the front, you will find the power button, along with an LED to indicate the power state. We have 4 drive bays, and down here we have an additional USB 3.2 Generation 2 port that also has a button around it. This button can be used for a single-click backup, so you can just insert your USB, click this button and instantly back it up. Or you can set it up to happen automatically through the ADM software. Let's remove the drive base. As you can see, we have metal trays here, and we have used for our testing SATA drives, 2.5-inch SSDs. Besides the 4 drive bays that you can use to install either traditional 3.5-inch drives or 2.5-inch drives, you also have 4 NVMe slots that sit right about here. Moreover, on the front of the device, you have a screen. This screen can be used not only to display your IP when you have it connected to your network, but can also be used to initialize the NAS without the need to connect it to any software or any other device. Here, on the side, you have 4 buttons for navigation. As far as the design of the chassis goes, it's very similar to the second generation. It has some ventilation on the top, some on the side, and the bottom is empty. Around the rear, you see we have one 120mm fan that is used to cool down the drives, the system, and partially the M.2 drives. The NVMe slots, however, are upgraded from PCI 3 that were used on the Gen 2 to PCI 4 used now in the Gen 3. There is a small bump in speed, but keep in mind that they only use 1 lane per drive, so the difference is not that big. It is enough, however, to fully saturate your 5 gigabit and 10 gigabit connections. One of the main criticisms, besides the lack of HDMI port on this NAS, is the price. The price has changed significantly from the previous model, which used to cost around $600-700, and now it costs a minimum of $1,200 to $1,300, depending on where you will buy it. To be honest, it's not that fair to draw comparisons between the 3rd generation and the 2nd generation of this unit, because it is so different that it has another target audience. Both products should be sold side by side, because you can't say that one can replace the other. This unit is someone who wants a lot of bandwidth, uses many connections, many computers possibly, and it is more business focused rather than the 2nd generation, which, again, being the Lockerstor, is business focused by default, but has some other features that you might enjoy as a home user, like the HDMI connection. In addition, as a home user, you wouldn't need that fast of speed unless you use your NAS for video editing or any other high throughput workloads. This unit is among the first that uses the new ADM 5.0 software. Asustor has kept innovating throughout the years. They have a better market share now, but they have focused strongly on hardware, and I think there is room for improvement in the software department as well. For someone who has used another NAS or has experience on an Asustor, it's not an issue. Everything is easy, and you can find everything with relative ease, but there is not as much documentation on the internet. You can't find as many information. This might hold some people back. To find out more about this NAS and see some of our testing, you can read our full article on hardwarebusters.com, leave a comment, let us know what you think about it, and also follow us on our social media. Thank you very much.